The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good morning. My name is Maggie Mullen, and I'm from CIEE. We are a J1 visa sponsor based in Portland, Maine. And today I'd like to talk to you about an exciting summer program available for university students. It's called the Summer Work and Travel Program USA. Today I'd like to talk to you about who CIEE is, what exactly the work and travel program is, what your job and life in the US would look like, what CIEE support services looks like and what we provide to you while you're in the US on our sponsorship, talk a little bit more about the work and travel program as a cultural experience, and some tips for preparing for your adventure. So unlike many visitors at the fair I understand today, CIEE is a J1 visa sponsor. So we are not a university. We don't provide academic programs, but we are designated by the Department of State to facilitate various J1 cultural exchange programs. CIEE stands for the Council on International Educational Exchange, and we were founded in 1947. We've been doing exchanges for a lot of time, and we're really proud of the Summer Work and Travel Program, as we're one of the largest US sponsors, and we are a nonprofit sponsor. There are about 70 US staff that work on the Work and Travel Program in our main office, which is located in Portland, Maine. Portland, Maine is about 2 hours north of Boston. But for the Work and Travel Program, destination wouldn't be Maine, it would actually be destinations all over the US. So a little bit more about the Work and Travel Program. It was established in 1969. And it promotes cultural exchange. So there are students from over 60 different countries that come to the US to work at US summer jobs in communities around the US where there's high seasonal visitors. So US national parks like Yosemite, Yellowstone, or restaurants up and down the eastern seaboard like Myrtle Beach or in Nantucket Island off of Cape Cod. It's a great opportunity to come to the US and have an experience learning a little bit about culture in the US, learning about work culture in the US, and of course, meeting many Americans and individuals from different countries. What the Work and Travel Program isn't, it's not an internship program, so it's not intended to necessarily build career skills, but rather focuses on cultural exchange and giving you perhaps a first-time work experience. It is regulated by the US State Department, so there are rules and regulations that both CIEE and the employers that we work with follow. Eligibility for the program. You need to be a university student enrolled in a brick and mortar school that is a degree-bearing school. You must be between the ages of 18 and 30. So again, this is someone who perhaps is in their first or second year of four-year university and coming to the US for this program. You should definitely have an interest in engaging with US citizens and individuals of other cultures, and interested in having a lot of fun in the US as well. Of course, you'll have an opportunity to travel. At the end of your program, you're given a 30-day period that you can travel after your work experience, so you can go anywhere in the US before heading home. So you can see New York, you can see California, whatever you might be interested in. But another piece of the culture to consider is the just day-to-day culture in the US, whether it's going to a baseball game or perhaps going to a barbecue with friends, or even just hanging out on the beach playing basketball, kind of the typical day-to-day American things that we forget is also part of US culture. You'll also make friends. Again, you'll be working alongside people from different countries, whether it's Colombia, Spain, Ireland, the UK, as well as your American counterparts. So you'll have an opportunity to make lifelong friends so that perhaps if you travel in the future, you're able to see and visit friends from all over that you've made on this program. So again, jobs in the US could be at hotels, restaurants, amusement parks, national parks. Positions could vary from running the gift shop or working as a waiter or waitress or working at the front of house in a restaurant. All of the jobs are paid at least minimum wage in the US, so you're guaranteed a certain wage. You're also guaranteed a minimum number of hours. Most of our students work probably 30 hours a week and earn anywhere between $8 to $10 US a week. Part of the CIEE services that we offer are actually finding you the job. So you don't have to worry about reaching out or looking for employment in the US. CIEE works with many different employers to source around 14,000 jobs for our work and travel program. And we have various hiring services, whether it's a CIEE staff person interviewing you for the job or the employer themselves interviewing you through Skype. Once you were to select a job and be matched to it, you would prepare for the interview. Many of you maybe have interviewed before or maybe you haven't, but just some tips to have success with the summer work and travel interview is to research the employer that you've been matched with, understand what the position is, and research the area where you're going. So you know exactly what kind of position and the area that you're going to be traveling to is like. Once in the US, just again, some tips for success in your jobs. You should ask questions in that interview and of your employer as you prepare to travel. Once you do arrive in the US, take initiative, be a go-getter and, offer to help out in the position, or again, ask questions if you're not understanding exactly what your job is supposed to be. And lastly, be open-minded and flexible. When you are given a job from CIEE, it's outlined very clearly what the role is, what you'll be doing at work, but sometimes things change slightly, so just be flexible as you start your job until you learn the ropes. Life in the US. So coming to the US to work at a US employer might sound a little bit scary, but both CIEE and your employer are there to help you. 99% of the time your job will have housing provided by the employer. You still have to pay for that housing, maybe $80 US a week, but remember you're earning money as well. So you'll just have to confirm your housing with your employer or if they have housing that they've sourced in the community. You'll want to plan your arrival. You'll have a flight booked and you'll need to make sure you know how to get from the airport to where you're going. We don't want anybody stranded at the airport, and make sure you have just enough cash to get started with taxis, housing, etc. In the US, we do help you to set up a bank account and actually get a social security number. And again, both CIEE and your employer are able to help you in those efforts. So CIEE Support Services. You might be saying, what's this? What do you mean support? Well, at CIEE's headquarters in Portland, Maine, we have a staff of about 50 that work in a call center in case you need help or in case you have issues. When you arrive to the US, we ask that you give us a call just to check in and say, hey, I made it. I made it to my employer and this is where I'm living. But throughout the summer, if you have any issues with employment or you need to go to the doctor to have a doctor's appointment, you can give us a call and we're going to help you through that situation. At the same time, if something happens where perhaps you're riding a bike and you have a bike accident, we're going to help you then too. And even if it's late at night or outside of normal business hours, we have a 24/7 line that is staffed by CIEE trained individuals on the work and travel program who are going to be able to help you. We really are proud of the support that we provide on our programs and think that it's a great help when coming to the US for perhaps the first time and when your family is not close by you to help. So again, insurance, CIEE has its own insurance that it administers. So when you come on the program, you are insured by CIEE insurance. And again, you're able to call the CIEE office for assistance and not necessarily have to deal with a third-party insurance. Again, that 24-hour emergency assistance that I mentioned. And lastly, monthly check-ins. So even if you're having a great time and you don't need our help, we do send you an email each month with a survey that we ask you to complete just to make sure that you're okay. It's a simple survey, and again, just to ensure your safety and well-being. A couple of things to remember if you are to enjoy this program and embark on an adventure to the US. We want you to see the sites. Yes, this is about coming to work in the US, but it's also a cultural exchange program, and we want you to see different sites around the US. So whether that's taking a couple days during the summer when you're working to travel to nearby attractions, or if it's at the end of the summer, heading to perhaps the West Coast if that's really something that you've wanted to visit. Meeting people. We want you to make friends and meet people from the US, of course, but also students from all over, like I mentioned earlier. And lastly, experience the culture. Again, there's culture in the work that you'll be doing, culture in the food, and culture in the people that you'll be visiting and making friends with as well. A couple of the different things that CIEE also does to help you have the best cultural experience that you can. We'll provide you with a culture guide unique to your area in the US where you're living and working. We'll provide a top 10 list of things to do in the US, so you might be not sure what sort of things you can do. That's okay. CIEE will give you some tips and insights into activities and attractions in your area. And lastly, we of course want to see all of the work and fun that you're having. So we do offer photo contests with exciting prizes through Facebook, Instagram, that sort of thing. So what are the goals of work and travel? We've talked a lot about cultural exchange and coming to the US for the first time, but ultimately we want you to learn about the US, perhaps in a different way than going to university in the US, but this is, working alongside US citizens, so you see a different side. Build intercultural competencies. This is the ability to work among individuals of different cultures and kind of understand where they might be coming from and understand how your culture may impact how you behave in the workplace or with friends. And personal transformation. We really believe the work and travel program is an excellent opportunity to come to the US, to have fun, to meet friends, and ultimately be perhaps a little bit more on your own and independent than you have before. And at the end of the summer, we often find students have had a really transformative experience. So I'm happy to take any questions if there are in the audience, if anything wasn't clear.
Yes. I'm having one question from Imrose that she's asking, can I change my place of employment during my participation in an exchange visitor program?
Okay, so once you are in the US, we do typically ask that you stay at the employer that you were initially matched with and interviewed for. If something happens where the job is not what was advertised to be, such as you were told you were getting 30 hours a week and you're only getting 15, CIEE is going to try and work through that to make sure that we've tried every possible option to have you stay. But ultimately, if it's not a good fit, there is the possibility to change positions.
Okay. Another question I'm having is, can I work at more than one job while participating in summer or work travel program?
Yep. So initially, we ask you when you arrive to the U.S. to really focus on the first job that you've been given. But ultimately, if you're in a city or town where there's lots of opportunities, you are allowed to get a second job. It does have to be approved by CIEE just to make sure it's the right kind of job and the employer knows about the program and that it's a safe environment. But yes, you can find a second job.
Okay. Another question I'm having. Are summer or work travel program participants required to have medical insurance?
Yep, you are required to have medical insurance, but the good thing about CIEE is that with our program sponsorship, you receive medical insurance. It's travel insurance, so covers, most unexpected accidents and injuries. It wouldn't cover general checkups, that sort of thing, but we'd hope since it's a short time in the US, you wouldn't need any just general preventative care type thing.
Okay, great. That means it could be done.
Okay.
I'm having more questions coming up.
Okay.
Must all program participants of the summer work travel program have pre-arranged employment before entering the United States?
Yes, on this particular program, because it's under the J1 visa category, all students do need to have prearranged employment.
Okay, great. That means they don't have to worry about that.
Right.
Right, great. Another question is there from one of the students. Can a student get a work opportunity relevant to his studies?
So depending on what your studies are, if it was hospitality or tourism, that would certainly be possible. Otherwise, the program is not an internship program, so there would not be opportunities, say, to do the work and travel program if you were studying marketing or computer sciences. But again, hospitality, tourism, business administration, you may find a job that fits in that realm. But again, it's not an internship program, so not intended to necessarily match the student's degree exactly.
Okay, great. Another question is there. How do
Mm-hmm.
sponsors screen and select program participants?
Great. So CIEE works with a wide network of agents like Study Metro, and we rely on them heavily to work with students and make sure that they're coming in the program for the right reasons. There is an application process as well as an interview with either CIEE or an employer before you're offered a position. So a combination of our international representatives and CIEE staff itself through applications and interviews for screening.
Great. So things are clear, I believe. I'm not having any more questions right now. Yeah, there's one more question.
Okay.
Students who study online or distant learning by eligible for are they eligible for this program? Online.
Unfortunately, they are not at this time. The Department of State regulations state that it needs to be a physical building. So online and distance learning, just from what I understand it to be in the US, would not count. If there's a combination of online learning involving also visits to a school, that's certainly something we could look into, but the general answer is no, it has to be at a physical location.
Okay, so I think it's clear that online or distant learning students are not eligible for this program. I'm afraid they
Correct.
can't participate in this. Uh,
Correct.
okay, I'm not having. Okay, one more question. Okay, another question is this: am I permitted to study wish list in the US?
Excuse me. So under this program, you are not able to be enrolled in university in the US. You need to be enrolled in a university abroad. So this is not a work program for students that are studying in the US currently.
Okay, great. So, mm, uh, there's a last question, I believe. Can I repeat the program?
Yes, so currently you're able to do the work and travel program for as many years as you're enrolled in school. So you would potentially be able to do it for, 3 to 4 years, depending on how long your degree program is.
Okay, great. So I think everything has been delivered so clearly and it's clear to everyone. Anyone, if any
Great.
questions, they can still ask. But yeah, thank you so much for this presentation, the clear information you provided to all of us. And I believe it would be helpful for all the students to join your program that way.
Great. Thank you so much. It's been my pleasure.
Right. Thank you so much, Maggie. Thanks for all your support.
Okay.
You have a great time.
Great.
Bye.
Thank you. You too. Bye-bye.